Today we are celebrating the Moon Day. Let us share with you something about the Moon that we always see and hear. The Moon is the only natural satellite of the Earth. The Moon orbits the Earth from 3,84,400 km and has an average speed of 3,700 km per hour. It has a diameter of 3,476 km, which is about one-fourth of that of the Earth. The Moon is the second brightest object in the sky after that of the Sun. The gravitational forces between the Earth and the Moon cause some interesting effects. Tides are the most obvious. The Moon has no atmosphere, but there is an evidence that there may be water ice in the deeper craters near the Moon's south and north pole, which were permanently shaded. Most of the Moon's surface is covered with rigidity, which is mixed of fine dust and rocky debris which were produced by the meteor impact. There are two types of terrain on the Moon. One is highly cratered and old highland. The other is relatively smooth and young craters which were flooded with the molten lava.
Through the 19th and 20th centuries, visual exploration through powerful telescopes has revealed a fairly comprehensive picture of the visible side of the Moon. The hitherto far side of the Moon was first revealed to the world in October 1959 through the photograph made by Soviet Lunar 3rd spacecraft. The photograph showed that the far side of the Moon was similar to that of the near side, except of the large lunar media are absent. Craters are also known for the cover of the entire Moon was ranging from huge media to that of microscopic ones. The entire Moon has about 3 trillion craters larger than about 1 meter in diameter.
The Moon shows different phases as it moves along its orbit around the Earth. Half the Moon is always in sunlight, just as half the Earth has day while the other half has night. The phases of the Moon depend on how much of the sunlit half can be seen at any one time. In the new Moon, the phase is completely in shadow. About a week later, the Moon is in its first quarter, resembling a half circle. Another week later, the full Moon shows its fully lighted surface. A week afterward, in its last quarter, the Moon appears as a half circle again. The entire circle is repeated each lunar month, which is approximately 29.5 days. The Moon is filling when it's further away from the Sun than the Earth. It is new when it's closer, and when it is more than half illuminated, it is said to be a gibbous phase. The Moon is when it progresses from full to new and waxing as it proceeds again to full. Temperature on its surface are always extreme.
Temperatures on its surface are extreme, ranging from a maximum of 127 degrees Celsius, that is 261 degrees Fahrenheit at lunar noon, to a minimum of minus 173 degrees Celsius, that is minus 279 degrees Fahrenheit, just before the lunar dawn. Just before the autumnal equinox, on about September 23, during this season, the Moon rises at a point opposite to the Sun, or close to the exact eastern point of dipole zone. Moreover, the Moon rises only a few minutes later each night, affording on several successive evenings an attractive moonrise close to sunset and strong moonlight almost all night if the sky is not clouded. The continuance of moonlight after sunset is useful to farmers in northern latitudes who are then harvesting their crops. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.
The Earth is the third planet from the Sun in the solar system. While the Earth orbits around the Sun once, it rotates around its axis about 365.25 times. This time period is 1 year. Our planet rotates, relative to the Sun, once every 24 hours. The Earth's only natural satellite is the Moon, which formed about 4.53 billion years ago. The Moon was formed not long after the formation of the planets, as a result of a collision between the young Earth and another ancient planet of about the size of Mars. During the collision, a large amount of material was ejected from the Earth's mantle, which started to orbit the Earth, forming a disk. The material of the disk soon collected into a spherical shape due to gravity, and the moon was formed. At that time, it was about 20 times closer to the Earth than it is today. While orbiting the Sun, the Earth and the Moon orbit their common center of mass, located below the surface of the Earth. The Moon is in synchronous rotation around the Earth. Its axial rotation and orbital period are the same. Therefore, we always see the same side. Its orbital period is 27.32 days, while the lunar phase period, from full moon until the next full moon, is 29.53 days. The moon has very important effects on the Earth. Without the moon, things would have happened differently. The moon has had a significant influence on evolution as well. Tides played a role in drawing life onto dry land from water. Our natural satellite also stabilized the Earth's axial tilt, creating the conditions for the climate to stay relatively constant. The major effect of tides on the Earth is the slowing of our planet's rotation and their gradual increase in the length of the days. 400 million years ago, 1 year lasted about 400 days, and the length of 1 day was only 21.8 hours. The high tides caused by the moon's gravity have an effect on the moon as well. As a result, the moon is slowly moving away from the Earth. Its orbit is expanding by 4 centimeters every year. The moon is the 5th largest satellite in the solar system. It orbits the Earth at a distance of 384,000 kilometers. Its diameter is a quarter of the Earth's. Its mass is only 1/81st of that of the Earth. Therefore, its gravity is weaker. Its surface warms up to 130 degrees Celsius during the day, but due to the strong heat radiation, it cools down to minus 160 degrees Celsius at night. Its surface is composed mainly of volcanic rocks, covered by a thick layer of debris. We can see darker, lower-lying basins, so-called seas, and lighter, higher plateaus on the moon. The basins, with the mountains and craters ringing them, were created by gigantic meteorite impacts. However, the volcanic rock layer and craters created by geological processes prove that there also used to be active volcanoes on the moon. So far, the moon is the only celestial body, apart from the Earth, where man has ever set foot. The internal structure of the moon is similar to that of Earth. It is composed of a crust, a mantle, and a core. The solid crust is 20 to 60 kilometers thick and is made up of volcanic rock. The upper mantle is also solid, with a partly molten layer below. The mantle has a thickness of 1,200 kilometers. The outer core is about 300 to 350 kilometers thick and is composed of molten substances, while the inner core is solid and has a diameter of about 150 kilometers.